This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Know-How is brought to you by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
Today on Know-How,
let's solder Steampunk Goggles version 2.
Welcome to Know-How. It's a Twitch show where we build, bend, break, and upgrade and try not to hit the mics as we do our Kamehameha. I'm Father Robert Palace here.
I'm Brian Burnett.
And for the next however many minutes it takes, we're going to be open up your brain like a Ziploc bag and pouring in some knowledge.
That's right. And we're going to try and be high energy, which our director says we aren't when we're sitting at a desk. But you got to be careful when you're playing with solder.
You do. And this is why we have it at the desk, not at the radio corner, because whenever you have to lean over to solder, it's more difficult.
Yes, and contrary to what he expects, when you smell chicken, you're supposed to stop.
Stop. Don't do that.
Yes.
Just back up. You're
I think he enjoys the pain.
He does, really, and he also really enjoys the buttons he can push to make.
I've got a rotisserie going back here.
He does. He has like a little oven underneath the TD desk over there.
Now, Brian, last week we showed them the basic parts that they're going to need in order to make Steampunk version 2.
Yes.
And we showed that it's actually much improved. It's a lighter set. The electronics work a little bit better, and we're using a cartridge system rather than just like sticking it in with tape.
Yes, like most Apple products, you want to wait for the second version, not the first generation. And Padre has made them lighter, stronger, faster, more powerful.
We can rebuild them?
We can rebuild them. 100% recyclable.
I see what you're going for here.
Yeah, now, but we don't want to spend a lot of money.
You may notice that we're building slightly different sets. Brian, I may have printed up some special frames for you.
I feel special. Look at these. These are bronze, right?
Yeah.
Is that what
they're supposed to be?
Okay,
well,
hey,
yeah,
it's steampunk color. Look, it matches with the little steampunk wheels that we got here.
Yeah, I mean, it was advertised as that's a bronze filament, and it kind of just looks.
Yeah, see, I think you told me, oh, Brian, don't worry, I've got this special filament I'm going to use for you. It's going to be great, but I don't see you using any of this filament for your stuff.
I didn't like it. Well, because look at the way there's
a little hairy.
Much. Yeah, there's so much. It's very hairy. So a lot of the filament just kind of slacks off, and there's got a lot of debris. It's printed exactly the same way as I printed my standard frame. So obviously there's something different about the qualities of that type of filament. And honestly, I'm okay with black. I kind of go with the black theme.
Fits the personality.
Yeah, but this way yours will look different than mine, and that's a good thing.
That is a good thing, because we wouldn't want to get our goggles mixed up.
No. All right, so let's go over really quickly again what you're going to need. As far as electronics are concerned, of course, you're going to need an Arduino Nano. We got one right here. Brian and I both have our own brand new Nanos. We're not going to use the pins, unlike my prototype set where I have like a little breadboard inside. This is just going to be straight wiring. A little easier this way. It also means that there's fewer things that can go wrong inside of the cart.
I was going to say, you trust me to solder straight to the Arduino?
Well, yes.
We'll find out, right?
I gave you the parts. We're also going to need potentiometers. I'm using these rotary potentiometers. Again, I bought them in a set. They're really, really inexpensive. These are 10K. There we go. Wait, where are we? There we go. 10K resistors. This is going to allow us to adjust the animation pattern. Now, there is another way to do this. If you like using I2C devices, there are rotary encoders. They're not potentiometers. They're encoders that will allow you far more accuracy in which animation you choose. But I kind of like the analog a little bit more.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Encoders?
Encoders. So the way that an encoder works is with a potentiometer, it's all about the resistance. So the amount of voltage, amount of current that's making it through to the center pin, the middle wiper. And then it takes 1,024 different values of analog input, but it fluctuates because that analog current is not precise. It will fluctuate a little bit up and down depending on what the battery is and what other devices are turning on. A rotary encoder, there is no resistor. What it is it actually has a little disc inside of it and a little LED and then a receiver. And as you turn it, it's counting how many of those little slots it's passing.
All right, that makes sense.
It's far more accurate.
Right, but way more expensive, or
not more expensive. It's just it's a different kind of programming, and I kind of like the old-fashioned.
Oh, totally. Well, it fits the theme of the project.
It does.
For sure.
It
Cool.
does. All right, so we got our potentiometer. We're also going to need some gears. So we've got our little bronze gears. If you go to the overhead, bronze gears, the loop. These are all cosmetic. They're not actually required for the functioning of the device, but they do make things look a little cooler.
Yeah, as much as this project is about learning how to program with the LEDs and everything, it's also a stylistic, artistic choice. Yeah.
And electronically, you're going to need the two WS2812 rings. These are about $4 a pop. You need this, which is the a SIMA type battery connector. There's links in the doc for you to buy them, either as a like a connector that you snip off, or I just bought like 50 of these because I use them all the time. You will need batteries, and you may notice these are the same batteries we use when we fly quadcopters, and there's a reason for that, because they're inexpensive and they're very easy to find. And then you're also going to need some wire. I'm using this 30 gauge, nice and thin. You're not passing a lot of power through this project, so you can get away with this ultra thin gauge. And the thinner the wire, the easier it will be for you to do the project, because you have to run this wire on the inside of the goggles. So just know that. As far as the 3D printed parts, remember, we've got our right frame and our left frame, and they are different because if you'll notice, they're keyed differently because they have to fit on opposite sides of the goggles. We're going to need this, which are these are the sort of the shelves for the LEDs for the WS2812s. We're also going to need this, which are the bridge segments. This is what allows us to run the wiring across the nose of the goggles that we're going to be using while maintaining the steampunk look. And you're also going to need the carts. Now, this is the big improvement from the last version. This allows us to install both our Arduino Nano and the batteries without making them look kind of trashy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you've got the analog. You've got the same thing on your side. The only thing I did not print in bronze for you was the LED shelf, because it's inside the goggles. It's
yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part of your new design is the cartridge attachment.
You just like them because they look like little spaceships.
Yes, I am very partial to their design as far as spaceship and durability when I drop them. But no, I like the idea of it being modular and then be able to like kind of hot swap batteries or whatever you need in a pinch.
Yeah, and really what we did was I wanted to make this possible for you to change the design more quickly. So if you want to include things, like for example, I deliberately designed, if you go to my my overhead, Alex, I deliberately designed this cart so that it has these empty spots on the sides. I have a version of this I've already created where I put two smaller trim pots, and they control the speed of the animation and the brightness.
Oh, cool.
So I just added two more pots that were inside here. I do have to go to the back of the goggles to change it, but I figured I'm probably not going to be changing those values that much. So the potentiometer at the front of the goggles is being used to change the animation. The potentiometers on the back are used to change brightness and speed of the animation.
I like that. I just wish that the vaporizer idea that you had wasn't so dangerous.
Yeah,
because that would be pretty neat to be able to swap in and have a little steam.
Strange enough, putting a high current device with the possibility for catching on fire and maybe exploding is not a great thing to have on your head.
I guess not. Not the first time someone has made that mistake.
Nope, not at all. Of course, the other things that we're going to need are the tools. You do need a soldering kit. We've got soldering irons, we've got helping hands, we've got the little slag pit. Some sort of drilling tool, a Dremel or a standard drill. Dremel's a lot safer. And also a glue gun. And the only reason why you're going to use a glue gun is because you want to be able to make sure the nano stays inside the cart.
Okay.
And if you're absolutely set on your design, you can put a tiny bit of this around the frame just to hold it against there. But just know,
be sure.
Yeah, be sure, because it ain't coming off.
All right, cool.
All right. So the first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and prep the glasses. Now, Brian, yours is a little bit different because I gave you those goggles back when we were Steampunk version 1, so you've already got your holes pre-drilled.
That's right. I got my holes pre-drilled, and also to differentiate my goggles, they're silver.
They're silver, and so you're using the old style of LED shelf that goes inside the goggles. We're replacing that with the ones that go outside the goggles. It actually goes where the glass is.
Right. And is it thinner than this one too? Does it take up that much space to block out?
It's actually thinner, and because we're replacing one piece of glass, it's actually lighter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it does a much better job of blocking out the light, so it doesn't like get reflected back into
so
your
it doesn't look
eyeballs.
like unicorn farts in your face.
Farts,
yeah.
right. So the first thing, let's do this. Go ahead and take yours out of your frame because you're going to have to see if you open this up. There's actually two pieces of glass. One is clear and one is tinted. We're only going to use the tinted one, and the tinted one will allow us to do that really cool effect we saw last week, where if it's off, you can't see the LEDs.
It's a tight fit, Padre.
It's supposed to be.
I know. I just don't want to break anything.
Go.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so
yeah, that just unscrews, and you can take out the unnecessary piece of glass.
all right, yeah, if I can actually unscrew it.
Okay, and while you're working on that, let me show them this. Yeah. This is how this is going to work on the LED holder. So this has been sized so it fits exactly. In fact, it doesn't just slide on. You do have to force it. What you want to do is you want to get those pads where the hole is on the LED shelf. And once you put it in and snap it, actually, you can hear the snap. There you go. So once it's snapped into place, now that's what this is actually larger than the version 1 because instead of going inside the cup, it's going to go on the outside where the glass is.
So does it go, I just took this apart, gasket and then the tint?
It's going to go, no, the tint and then the
little gasket.
Then the gasket, then the LED.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just removed the glass. I don't need that. Garbage.
No, that's garbage. Before we get there, Brian, we're going to have to do a little bit of soldering. This is a Let's Solder episode.
That's the whole reason we're at this desk.
Yeah, we're going to pre-tin these pads first because every time you pre-tin, it's going to make the job easier when you actually have to solder. So I've got my two WS2812s. Alex, if you go to the overhead, you'll see I've got 6 pads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's ground in, ground out, voltage in, voltage out, data in, data out.
Those are tiny. Yep.
Little teeny tiny ones. And what you want to do is just go ahead and take your iron.
I should probably turn
your iron on. It works a lot better when it's on.
Heat that
baby up. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a tiny little dollop of solder on each one of these pads. It's going to make it so much easier when I eventually have to go and solder wires to this thing.
Right. And yeah, these are pretty thin wires. What were you saying they were?
These are 30 gauge.
30 gauge. Yeah. Right.
And you know, the first one may be a little stubborn, but once you get it flowing, it typically works really well. Oh, you want to heat the pad and not the solder, but as we've said several times, what you may want to do is tin the iron because it will transfer the heat much better. And every time you're done, just sort of clean the tip because you don't want that excess solder hanging out on the tip.
Right.
So this is what it looks like. It's not much change, but now there's actually a little dollop of solder on all those pads, which means when I put my pre-tinned wires, I'll just have to reflow.
Okay, yeah, that makes it a lot easier.
Yours are a little easier, Brian, because
I already went ahead and soldered these myself.
Oh yeah,
clearly,
yeah.
Certainly was not given these pre-soldered.
No,
because someone didn't trust me
at all. I will say you're going to have to cut those because you're going to need to run the wires through the little rat hole we've got inside the LED frame.
Right, I was looking at that.
Yeah. Hold on, why don't you go ahead and start disassembling yours so I can take some time to do the second LED here.
All right, I don't want to cut too much of the wire off. I think I can.
No, you want to cut it off near the connector because we're going to replace the connector, but you want the wires that connect to the ring itself.
Right. So here's the connector. Okay, I'll just use these snips.
Yeah. So we're doing slightly different builds because Brian is completing a build he started a year ago.
So yeah, there's probably some people out there who may have started this project and didn't finish, and now they're picking it back up, like me.
And that's fine because now you get to make
it better.
Revision 2.
Right? That's totally what my plan was all along.
You are an evil genius, Brian.
Right.
Evil genius.
See, when you procrastinate long enough, it works out in your favor.
Is that how that works?
Eventually. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so we need 3 types of wire. We need a red, a black, and then some other color. So I'm using red, black, and white of my 30 gauge wire. And as always, whenever we're working with wire, what we want to do is we want to strip and pre-tin. I don't need a lot of wire here because I just need enough to connect to that pad. There we go. You can't even see on the camera. That's about all I need, just like 3 or 4 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and strip and tin these 3 wires, and these are going to be going from the LED ring to the Arduino. So this is going to be going on the in on LED ring number 1. Because remember, I'm going to go from the Arduino to LED 1 to LED 2 to the battery. So the battery is actually on the other side.
Right. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Got that.
Oh, by the way, with those carts, the other thing that you can do if you really want to is you can put a battery on both sides, which also means that you can swap out batteries without turning it off. But it doesn't really matter because, well, Arduinos turn on almost immediately. How you doing over there, Brian? You okay?
So I'm thinking I cut the power cable part off,
right?
But now I think you may have threaded it through the frame and then the nose bridge and then soldered to each. So I'm going to have to cut more wires, aren't I?
Probably. Well, no, not cut. You can just pull back.
I thought I could just pull back.
Well, where's it binding?
It's connected from here down through up here and then back into this one. So I feel like you threaded it, soldered it, and then... Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Now you've got an option there, Brian. You can either cut the wire and then resolder it.
Which wire do I cut?
Or you have to cut them all, Brian. They all go
Is it the red wire?
Or you can use the old setup and then just cut a hole in the side of your LED shelf. It's up to you. Which one do you want to do, Brian?
You think this will still fit in the lens okay if I cut it out?
Well, yeah. You're just going to make it. You can use the Dremel and make a little incision, and you're good to go.
Yeah, sure. This shouldn't be any problem. Here we go.
Hey, guys. Brian just messed up his goggles.
No, I don't know.
See, you should have started fresh. The problem is you wanted to use your old goggles.
I did. I do. I think I'll Dremel one, and then I'll see how it goes, right?
Do you want me to give you a fresh pair of goggles, Brian?
No.
Okay.
No, I've got these.
All right. All right. Oh, hey, you know what? You're an independent woman.
Do we? Thank you. I appreciate that. Hear me roar, Padre.
All right. I've got my wires tinned. So what I'm going to do now is I have to run these through my LED shelf because unlike version 2, this is actually enclosed. And the reason why it's enclosed is we were getting light leakage on the version 1. And I wanted to put that there so that the light would not reflect back through the hole I made for the wires. So I'll take 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3. Red, black, and white. And it's going to go through the rat hole like this. So through the backside of the rat hole.
Backside.
And now I can solder that onto my pads. So I want red is going to go to my voltage, my VCC. Black is going to go to my ground, and the white is going to go to data. And this is all on the inside.
Right. And then you're going to have this then connected to the other LED for power and data.
Correct. So the data, just remember, data is flowing from the right side to the left side. Power is flowing from the left side to the right side.
Okay.
But power, it doesn't matter which direction it's in. As long as positive goes to positive and negative goes to negative, you're fine. Data has to go Arduino to the inside of the first ring, the outside of the second ring to the outside of the first ring to the inside of the second ring. Otherwise, it won't work properly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm glad you're so positive about it.
I am very positive. It's what I do, Brian. You know what? I'm actually gonna do this to make it easier for the audience to see.
So I decided to not Dremel the print.
That's fine.
And I cut the wires, so it's going to be a little bit more of a pain for me to solder some wires together, but
you know what, Brian? You're going to be happier with this. And I got to say, I'm a little proud of you, Brian.
I'm doing stuff.
Yeah. And see, this is why we pre-tinned it, because rather than having to glob on solder, all I have to do is reheat the solder. And once I reheat the solder...
Don't make Smitty cry.
There we go. See, now that stays.
Cool.
If it fits, I sits.
If it rhymes, it must be true. All right. So I got my 2 LEDs set up. Now I'm going to have...
See, I did the hard part, and that's already done, because you've got your LEDs soldered.
Right. That saved me a lot of time.
It does.
But now I have to thread the wires through the holes drilled in the bottom of the lenses.
Correct. Okay, so actually, you're skipping a little bit ahead. So let's stay with this, and then you can follow when because you don't have to solder this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you're going to catch up to me really quick here.
Yeah. Could you hand me the snips?
Snips.
Citizen snips. When you do this, you don't want to waste wire, but also this wire is not super expensive. So I mean, like that's 12 inches.
Too long.
What's way more than I need. But I'm going to do it anyways, just in case.
It's better to have extra than to cut yourself short.
Now this is ring number 1, so I need both sides. So I'm going to need another 3 wires because those 3 wires are going to go from this ring to the next ring.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to redo the process, which is I'm just going to strip and tin my wires, and then I'm going to solder 3 more.
Cool.
So what are you working on over there, Brian?
So right now I am working on threading the wires that are soldered to the LED circle through the bottom of the goggles so that then I can connect it to the other side.
Right.
But
did I give you a potentiometer with the first kit? Did I wire that up, or I forget?
I have a potentiometer. I don't have.
I don't think I didn't connect anything to it. No, I didn't. All right, that's fine. That's what we'll do next, Brian.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to it. Because I'd much rather have. Shoot, I already forgot what was the other kind of potentiometer?
Like the rotary encoder.
Yes, I'd rather have this one than the other one.
Besides, this is just cooler.
Right? Analog
rules. All right, so just like the last one, I'm going to wire this through my my shelf so that the wires are facing the right direction.
Nice.
And this will be the out. So all of these are going to go to the outside, the out pads, which are right there. Now, when you're doing this, do remember that these are going to be on the inside of your goggles. So you really don't want these things popping loose. Yeah, it's not a lot of voltage, but these are kind of sharp, especially if they snap off. And having that on your eyeball is probably not going to feel good.
That's part of the appeal, right? Is the danger.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not steampunk unless it might blind you. I think isn't that a mantra?
It's not steampunk unless it'll blind you.
Yeah,
I guess so.
So I imagine Smitty is watching this right now and just shaking his head slowly.
Probably.
Yeah. Smitty, it's okay. I'm sorry, man. Actually, I'm going to be working with him for something for DEF CON. I won't be at DEF CON, but I'm doing a project for DEF CON.
Oh, Riri.
Yeah. It's my way of giving back to the community, Brian.
Except you're not going to be going to DEF CON this year.
I know.
Which is a big bummer.
It's a super bummer.
This is the first year you won't be going in...
Like 2 decades.
Wow.
But it's pre-stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'll just have to go without you then, huh?
Well, you can use my house. All right, so that's my second set. This is the set that's going to go across the bridge into the second ring. So I'm going to make this, again, 12 inches should be just fine. And then I'll just cut off the excess. You do have space inside of the frames. The way I've designed it is there's a place for you to like wrap around the cables. So don't worry about making them too long. I always leave myself a little service loop in case I need to fix something later on. But by the same token, don't make it so long that you have to like wrap around the goggles 3 times in order to get rid of the excess cable. Just cut away the excess.
I see.
All right. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and make the wires for the second ring. Now, the second ring is a little weird because I've already got most of the wires on the first ring. So this is the data and the power going from the data going from the right side to the left side and the power going from the left side to the right side, which means that I've already got the data line for my second ring on the first ring. All I need for the second ring is I need the lines that are going to go from the battery back into the system. So I only need a black and a red. I do not need data going to the battery. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's just wasted.
That's just wasted, you would just waste
wiring.
It.
Which already in this kind of form factor, you're kind of limited for space and everything. So why add to it?
Precisely. So where'd my second ring go?
So now the problem I'm having at this juncture is that this spacer is inside of it goes in here, right? Like this?
No. Okay. See, the spacer, Ryan, is going to...
it goes on
wait till we get there.
All right. Well, I think the problem I'm going to have now is that I've threaded these wires through the bottom like this, and now I have to unthread everything and come at it from the other side.
No. That's still okay.
That is...
but see, it doesn't go on the outside. It goes like that. So the way that you have it right now, that's how it goes. And then the gasket goes around that, and then the other piece of glass goes on top of it, and then you just screw that down. It doesn't go inside the cup. It goes outside the cup.
Because when I tried screwing it down, the outside of the cup tried to, like, I couldn't spin it properly without it trying to twist.
I made it tight. It's going to take a little bit of force because you want it to sit. You do not want it moving around in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing about 3D printed parts. You can make it a little bit loose, but then you need something to hold it firm. In this particular case, I just made it firm so that the friction of the ring itself made it stop.
I see. Okay. I'm getting there.
I should have given you an unassembled kit.
Really make me work for it.
Make you have to work.
It's stuck in your head now, huh?
I haven't. It is. Go figure. You know, we're going to get back to this in a second, but first, hey, Brian, you know what I want to do?
What's that?
I want to listen to these messages.
Previously on Twit.
Mozzaleo.
Oh, mozzaleo.
Apple is never going to do a mozza cracker filter. It would be too undignified.
Tech News Today.
Google's artificial intelligence is going to make you the Picasso of clip art. When using the AutoDraw tool, Google's AI will analyze the image being drawn with every stroke that you add and update a series of thumbnail images up at the top that it thinks match the item that's being sketched. It's a dog.
It's a dog,
hippopotamus.
like I said. Oh, hippo.
Of course it's a hippo.
But they doesn't know it's a hippo, so it's not a good hippo.
The new screensavers.
Today, you're going to be making pancakes.
I am?
With the pancake bot.
Pancake bot.
The prototype was originally made out of Legos. 99% Legos and 1% ketchup bottles.
Twit. It's what's for dinner.
You know, this week Google announced that they've developed AI that can sketch like a human being. So I think that might be the next step, that you get, you know, some AI in here and just see what happens.
Pancake bot.
Hey, pancake bot, draw dinosaur pancake.
Oh man, can it do that?
Is it moving?
No.
Oh, you guys got version 2.0. Sorry.
Oh no. Yeah.
And we're back. Okay, so Brian, what I've got now is I've got both of my rings. These are all the wires that I'm going to need for the rings.
Right.
So this is ring number 1. That's why it has 6 wires. I've got data, which is the white wire, going both from the Arduino and then out to ring number 2. Ring number 2, you'll notice, has no white lines because this is going to be the white lines that I need. This is going to be bringing data from the Arduino to the ring 1 to ring 2.
Right. And mine has white because, well, you had already soldered these together and then I had to cut them.
You cut it. You're going to, oh man, yours is going to be a mess.
How dare you? Wait until it's finished to make fun of it.
Okay. It will be a mess. All right. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and set these aside because this part you do have to do. We need to set up your potentiometer.
Okay.
Okay. So the potentiometer is an interesting device. What it needs is current. So it's going to have ground on one side. It's going to have voltage on the other side. The center pin, that's the wiper pin. So that's the one where the current will change based on what the position is of my potentiometer. So
that would be the white wire, right?
Well, it's not. Yeah, we're going to use white, but I mean, it's not a data line. It's bringing current back to the Arduino.
It's not okay. But we'll do red for power, black for ground.
Right.
And then, okay.
Right. And what we want to do is we are actually go to the overhead here. What we're going to do is we're going to be bending these pins back because that's how it's going to fit into the frame.
Okay.
And then we're going to shrink wrap them. And we want to shrink wrap just to make sure that those pins aren't going to come into contact with anything that might short it out.
Okay.
All right.
And these are something that you'll be wearing outside. So the more that we can reduce things that are exposed, like in case it gets rained on or something. I guess.
Just remember, I mean, they're going to be your shiny new thing now, but in a bit, they're going to be something that's sitting in the bottom of your gadget box. You want to make sure that they're not going to short out the next time you use them.
Totally.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and we're going to get some wire. I'm going to cut the strips I need. You really don't need much for this because this is going to be right below the Arduino.
Okay.
The only slack you need is because it's going to be in that cart. So just imagine as far as you would need to take it so that it would be out of the cart, which is about that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and snip that.
Snip.
And those are for you.
Yay, thank you. Ooh, yeah, got it.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and snip myself a little bit of wire. Like so.
All right.
Wait. This is, I don't like having a big tangle of wire.
Do you have decent strippers here at the table?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Right
well, we'll see how this goes.
You're going to destroy your wire, aren't you, Brian?
Yeah. I have difficulty stripping wires this thin, but I'll try. There's like a really nice one that Burke let me have, but I don't know where it is at the moment.
So what you're saying is you have a really nice one that you lost?
Yes. Well, not lost, but...
It's weird. I had a really
misplaced.
nice set of helping hands and a soldering pit at my desk, and they're gone now.
As you can see, I did not take them because I have no helping hands here. So, unless, of course, I took them and immediately
Are you
lost
trying to strip both of them at the same time?
No. I got one. Sweet.
All right, here, let me show you, Brian. All right, wait, get the second one. Get it? Dang.
Got it.
All right.
No problem.
See, just a tiny nick right at the top. You don't need much, again, because you're going to have to cut that back because you don't want the excess just poking off the pad.
Right. And then twist the little wires
Twist
so they're
it and
not
then tin
frayed.
it. You got to tin them.
Got to tin it.
Yeah, just remember, anytime you're stripping wires, you're going to want to tin. It works a whole lot better if you do.
Well, especially when you're working with wires that are this thin. Some of the bigger wires, it's easier to get by.
Oh, something else. If you strip these really thin wires and you've basically like removed all of it except for one strand,
go ahead and use it. No, don't use it.
Restrip it. Seriously, because I've seen projects where they've done that, where they accidentally like cut out some of the strands,
right?
And they're like, it's got one. No,
that's a great way to frustrate yourself because then if there's any tension that gets put on it,
just
and it snaps off,
you're done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I totally don't know from experience at all with that.
It's very tempting. I mean, it's like, this is probably going to work.
Probably.
Yeah. Hold on. Do you need this, Brian? Do you need my helping hands?
No, I do not need your helping hands.
You sure, Brian?
Right, I probably do.
Okay.
No. It's okay. Let's see. So it doesn't really matter which side the red or the black's on, right?
Not at all. As long as you've got a current going through it, it's happy.
And as long as it's not the middle one. So, okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and strip and tin the other side as well, because that's the side that's going to be connecting to the Arduino.
You know, I should have grabbed more of my soldering stuff, I'm now realizing.
I gave you solder.
Oh, I know. I just don't have my little HAL 9000 cup iron sponge thing.
No, but I gave you a sponge over there.
That works.
Hey, I set you up, Brian.
You set me up.
That's what I do, man.
I appreciate it.
Hold on. And all you. Here we go.
All me? Oh, thanks. I'll get that in a sec.
So we get to see Brian work.
Very, very slow.
Hey, you know what? I take slow over inaccurate. Okay. So you take all the time you need, Hippo.
What about slow and inaccurate?
That's a problem. Let's not do that.
Pudger takes offense to that.
Yes,
it's okay, Brian. We're not watching.
Aww.
Oh, hi, everyone. I didn't know you were looking
it's
at
always
this.
nice to have such encouraging words from our director.
See,
this chicken's going to be real good over here by the end of the show.
I'm surprised we haven't heard the bacon sound effect yet. But most people get to enjoy their mistakes at home without people watching. Not me. I get the pleasure of having
just
people
wait
watch.
till we do the LED clock. That thing is just a disaster waiting to happen.
Now, is that something... I'm not building one of those with you, right? We're just building one.
Do you want to try?
I'm going to wait and see.
It's working on really small parts.
I'm going to wait until I see the finished product. Yeah, if it's worth it.
So basically what you're saying is you want to wait for me to fail. Okay. No, that's
like
cool.
Most of
that's
our
cool,
projects,
man. It's cool.
Right?
It's cool, bro. Cool.
Now, are you tinning the potentiometer as well? Or?
I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but it's something I enjoy doing.
Let's put some padding on there, right?
Yeah. Actually, hold on. Do you see mine? There we go. One of the things to remember with soldering is you want a momentary contact. One of the nice things about our soldering irons is we can adjust the heat. We can specify exactly what we want. You want it hot enough so that you get an immediate melting of solder. Some people think that they can protect their components by using a lower temperature, but all that means is that you need to apply it to the surface for a longer time, which increases the chance that you're actually going to destroy the component that you're working with.
Yeah, because then the heat's transferring. I think that's, what was the board we were working on, the kit? The oscilloscope, right?
Right.
My fear is that I think I soldered it improperly and may have left the soldering iron on the board too long and may have burned out a component.
Oh, did that thing never turn on?
I never went back to it after I failed. Like once I plugged it in and it didn't work, I got frustrated.
Hey, Brian, we all know that frustration. So you should not feel bad for failing.
No, I'll go back to it sooner or later.
Failure on know-how is always an option.
It's encouraged.
Well, it's how we learn. And let me tell you, we learn so much on this show.
Is that right, Alex? You learning anything over there?
Oh, yeah.
He's learning how to check his phone.
How to bake a chicken.
He's watching Letterman.
Doing these slow dissolves between you two. Look at that magic.
My goodness.
Magic of the TD desk.
I'm going to have to do a white wire here in a moment.
See, normally when I do this, I'm really close to it and I can see exactly what I'm soldering.
Right. You don't have a microphone in your face?
I don't have a microphone in my face. I don't have to worry about the audience seeing. But we do this because we love you.
That's right.
There's so much love. Can you feel the love?
You should. Because I can feel the heat coming off of the soldering iron, which is pretty much like robot love, right?
Yeah, soldering iron, robot love. Okay, so now I've got my 3 wires. What I want to do is I want to shrink wrap this. If you hand me that.
What's that? This? Shrink wrap?
Yeah.
There you go.
So this is my handy-dandy, almost depleted kit of shrink wrap. And it doesn't matter what color you choose. I'm going to use all yellow.
Make it pretty, Padre.
No.
No?
No
Okay.
pretty.
Right.
You don't get pretty. You don't deserve pretty, Brian.
No, I just deserve mistakes.
There you go.
Alex is hungry. Somebody say steak?
I haven't had... You know what I ate for dinner last night, Brian?
I don't know what
I had a salad.
A salad?
That's like... No.
A meat salad. Is
Why?
that what you're
No,
saying?
it was just like a salad. It didn't even have any dressing.
Oh, man, that's so boring.
I know. But, they tell me if I don't do that, I'm going to die.
Whatever.
And I got to tell you, after that salad, I was like, that's I'm okay with that.
That probably added like 2 years to your lifespan.
Yeah, but 2 years without steak. I mean, who would want to do that?
I don't know.
All right, so here's what we got. And this is another one of the reasons why we like our soldering station so much, because they also have a little rework gun. And we can use the rework gun.
Yeah.
If I can trigger it. There we go.
There you go.
Wait. Come on.
Are you going to heat up that mic?
Yeah.
Now, if you listen closely, you'll also feel the heat.
Okay, mine's not. I think my rework gun might be dead. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to need yours, Brian.
Well, so mine has a different... Is that okay to have this strange tip on there?
No, that's the better tip.
Oh, the better tip. Well,
I don't know what happened to my rework.
It's not very long.
So you know what? You're going to have to do this.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, so what you want to do is go ahead and turn on your rework.
There we go.
There you go.
Hey,
okay, and go ahead and heat up that shrink wrap just a little bit, not too much. Put it in the camera. There we go.
So you see, heat shrink gun. Ooh, it's a potent. Oh, hey, whoa, that works really well.
Yeah.
So don't
accept your hands in the way. So all we're saying is really
right. Yeah. I have a really bad habit of that. Well, hold on, lefty.
There you go.
Nice. All right, I think that's it.
Okay, yeah.
You can hear the sizzle when you start hearing it sizzling.
Yeah,
like
just
that?
put it back in the carrier. Well, you don't have to turn it off.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, if you put it back in the carrier, it just turns itself off. Yeah.
It does?
It's cooling it.
Oh, it's cooling it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Literally, really cool. Oh, you want it back now?
Give it back.
I'm kind of proud of my work, though.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's nice. We have a show to continue. Right?
So how are you on yours? Do you want the helping hands?
No. I've gotten this far without helping hands. I don't need one now.
All right, fine.
But I'm just about to apply the white wire.
All right. So if you come back here, Alex, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bend these up. And again, the reason why I'm doing this is so that it fits better into the housing, because this is going to be right up against the side of the shell on the inside there. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the nut and the washer, because I need this on the outside to hold this up against the side of my design.
Okay.
Okay. Now, while I'm doing this, Brian.
Uh-oh. That means I have to do something.
I'm going to get my Arduino ready.
How are you going to do that?
Well, I don't have to solder any of the pins to it, but I do need to solder the wires from the LED rings.
Okay.
And the power. So what I'm going to be using is, because I've got 2 needs for ground, 2 needs for 5 volts. So I have the 5 volt in the ground going into the LED rings.
Yeah.
And I also need the 5 volt in the ground going into my potentiometer.
Right.
Right. So I have to locate. I have ground, 5 volt, 5 volt right here. So that's a ground pin. That's a ground pin. That's a 5 volt pin. That's a 5 volt pin. So
Okay.
I have all the connections I need. And then in my code, I've got my data pin set for digital 3, which is right here. So the white wire from my LED ring is going to go into digital 3. The black, so the ground and the red and the voltage from my potentiometer is going to go to ground and VIN, which is voltage in. And then the ground and the voltage going from the LED rings is going to go to ground here and 5 volt there.
Okay. But a lot of those you could probably interchange. Well, not the ground and 5 volt, but like you could interchange the data pin and then change in the code if you wanted.
Yeah. And also I have the white pin coming from my potentiometer. I'm going to put that into, I think I put that into analog like 7 or something.
Okay.
But I can check the code and find out where it went.
So before I put the heat shrink on, I don't know if you can see it that well, which is probably for the best. You can see the wires are connected, but if you could get a closer look, you would be Smitty would cry. This would not make him proud. There's
barely.
blob, and the wire's kind of bent off to the side, but you know what? I wasn't using helping hands.
I understand. I understand. Well, we're going to come back in just a second and continue this, but let's go ahead and jump into the Wayback Machine and take a look at the version 1 final integration. In the last segment of Project Steampunk, we drilled rat holes into our goggles, soldered together our power, LED rings, and controller, and uploaded a test sketch to make sure that everything was working. This week, we're adding an analog control, finalizing the electronics, and integrating everything into the 3D printed frame. We're going to start by connecting our analog potentiometer to the Arduino. There are 3 pins on our single-turn potentiometer. The outside pins are for voltage and ground. The middle pin returns a variable voltage depending on the position of the wiper, which is connected to the shaft. We're going to use that variable voltage to control what pattern is being displayed on the LEDs. Solder your ground and positive leads to the outside pins. It doesn't matter which one is which. Then solder a single lead to the middle pin. Insulate your solder joints with lengths of heat shrink tubing. Now let's solder those leads to the Arduino. I soldered ground to the remaining G and D through hole, then the positive lead to the 5 volt hole, and the wiper lead to the analog 7. Poke your leads through, then solder to the through hole, not the wire, and clip off any excess wire. If you have it, take a length of 1 1/4 inch heat shrink tubing and wrap your Arduino. You could probably get away without doing this, but I like the extra protection that it affords. Including last week's assembly, you should now have a power source, 2 daisy-chained LED rings, an Arduino, and a potentiometer to control it all. Now, let's go ahead and integrate it with our 3D printed frame. Let's start by adding the LED ring retention plates. These 3D printed parts should hold the LED rings in place, while also cutting down on the amount of light that is reflected back into your eyes. Position them so that the wiring harness is positioned within the cutout, then push them into place. Once they're in properly, you should be able to twist and turn the goggles without movement of the LED rings. Now, let's go ahead and install the potentiometer. It should fit perfectly into the 6mm hole that I designed for the right frame. Push it in all the way, then use the washer and nut to secure it. We could be boring and just install the knob over the top of the shaft, but instead take one of your brass gears and shave away the center hole until it can fit over the shaft of the potentiometer. Once it just barely fits, force it onto the potentiometer shaft, then push the knob over the top. Start to insert the right cup into the right frame. It should fit snugly, with just a little pushing required to complete the docking. While you're installing the frame, gently pull the wire along the side of the cup and make sure it goes between the cup and the frame. Once you've got the right cup inserted into the frame, use a piece of double-sided foam tape to attach the Arduino to the inside of the right frame. If you have any excess wire, use a tie wrap to bunch and manage, or just twist it to control the wiring. Moving to the left cup, we first need to disassemble the magnifying loop. Simply unscrew the nut closest to the clip until it comes off, along with the clip halves and the clip spring. Now choose a brass gear with a small center hole and push the loop mounting pole through the gear, then through the 2mm hole in the left frame. Take the nut you just removed and screw it back into the mounting pole on the other side of the frame. Keep tensioning until the magnifying loops are held in place firmly. Take the battery harness and pass it through the hole at the bottom of the battery retention plate. Then, again gently holding the wires against the side of the cup, slip the left cup into the left frame. Once the cup is firmly attached to the frame, and if you've loaded the program from last week's episode, you should be able to put a battery into the power compartment, connect it to the power harness, and enjoy some senseless LED action. So because the electronics haven't really changed between version 1 and version 2, other than us getting a little tricky with how they're actually installed, that's still a very good tutorial for you to actually do the final assembly.
Right.
If you could handle me the snips really quickly.
Snips.
Let me show you what we've done here. So on my Arduino, I've got the potentiometer now connected. And what that's going to allow us to do is to snip back the wires that I soldered in here. And like so, and like so. So that when we install this, there's not going to be a bunch of sharp edges on the bottom. Now, this means my control circuit is now complete. So I will have the ability to change the animation pattern based on what the position of my potentiometer is. Nice. I still have not connected the LED rings, but that's because I haven't put them into the case just yet. Yeah.
And once you're finished soldering everything to the Arduino, are you going to heat shrink it? You put like a giant thing on?
I did that in the version 1 because it was just double-sided taped to the side of the housing. But in this particular case, I've got these the little carts, and so it's going to be hot glued into the cart. Actually, where's the like this? So this is how it's going to look. This is actually going to go inside this, and this almost snaps in. I'm going to use a tiny bit of hot glue in the bottom, and then this entire cartridge can just be slid in and out. In my prototype version, I actually put bullets, little 3mm, actually the 2mm bullets, the same ones that we use for the quadcopter projects, inside of here so that I can actually disconnect from the potentiometer so that I didn't have to be dragging the frame around.
That makes sense,
But that just adds a
more
level. Yeah, for most people who are never going to disassemble their goggles after they've put them together, it doesn't make sense to do that.
And you can still have access to the USB, right? So if you want to update the code.
Well, see, look, and that's the nice thing about this. The USB port's right there. So I don't even have to take this cartridge out. If all I want to do is reprogram it, I can just plug in here and I'm good to go. But if I want to actually change the functionality, I can remove the card entirely and just replace it with a new one.
Cool.
Okay. Let's go ahead and install the potentiometer because this is the part that I actually kind of like. It starts adding stylistic elements to our little project. You're going to take your Arduino, which is connected to, or your potentiometer, which is connected to the Arduino, and I'm going to pass it in here. If you look at the bottom of the cup, you'll notice there's a large hole right here. That's where the shaft for the potentiometer goes through.
Right.
And then there's this smaller one, which doesn't go all the way through. Notice how on the outside of the frame there's only the large cutout.
Right.
That's because that smaller hole, all it does is it gives a friction point. It's a standing point for this. There's a tiny little piece of metal that pops up on the side so that when you turn the shaft, that holds the body of the potentiometer in the same place. If I didn't put that hole, what would happen is
you wouldn't have any tension.
I'd have to cut this off to make it fit because otherwise it would be at an angle.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it in like this. It's a little tricky. It requires a little bit of finger work. Like so. Boom. Once it's in, I can turn the potentiometer, the shaft of the potentiometer, and the body is wiggling right now because there's no nut. But once I have that secured down, that will stay perfectly firm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the way I'm just going to work on this outside is, again, here's where the stylistic elements come into play. I took this little Steampunk brass gear. Again, go to the show notes if you want to see where we bought these. I had to shave it down a little bit, but it fits over the potentiometer, like so. And then I take the nut that I removed. I no longer need the washer, and I just Attach it like so. Give it a couple of, don't over tighten this. If you over tighten this, you will actually pull the potentiometer shaft out of the body of the potentiometer.
That's bad.
That's bad, okay?
Okay. Not going to be able to use it after that.
Yeah, don't do that. Why is this not going in?
Oh, I have my nut. My nut's still on mine.
Well, take that off.
Gotta take that nut off.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Oh no, don't drop it. Almost went to the floor.
I know this fits in because I took this off, but I'm not sure why it's not going back in. Hold on. I think because
it's a live demo.
I broke something, Ryan.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, no, I didn't push it all the way through. That's totally my bad.
That would do it.
There we go.
No,
there's no soldering in this one, Alex.
Not yet.
Yeah, we're not.
But I do want bacon.
That's my chicken.
That's You think that's just a sound effect? He has a microphone pointed at that chicken right now.
I feel like Alex should have a hibachi back there, just so that when he gets bored during our episodes, he can make himself something.
Did you do you put the gear on and then put the screw or the nut down on it?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because something needs to hold down that first gear.
Right. Well, now I have to reapply.
Okay, so show me what you got.
Well, I've got it like that.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So
well, see, you've got a different set of gears, and I didn't grind down yours, so you have to.
They worked okay.
You kind of have to. Oh, really? It fit on?
Well, one of them did. Probably not the second one you gave me.
Mine. I don't know what's. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I think I stripped.
You stripped it?
So one of the things you should probably do is not over tighten.
You think you did?
I may have over tightened it.
Did you even use like a screwdriver or anything?
I know. I've got really strong fingers, Brian. I don't know who you think you're dealing with here, but they used to call my fingers the vice.
I did not need to know that.
Yeah.
My high school nickname, the Vice. Huh.
I might have a problem here.
Do you want to use mine?
No, it's okay, because mine's already soldered to my Arduino.
Right. Mine has not.
All I have to do is push it in hard enough so that I can get a little extra thread that maybe. There we go. All right. So now this was the flange that I designed to work with this. Mm-hmm. This actually snaps in. Hold on. Oh, it didn't make the popping sound.
So disappointing.
And now I can put this right over the top because this is designed to fit onto that potentiometer, and there we go. So rather than using the little stereo knob, this is now my control.
Cool.
How cool is that, Brian?
That's pretty cool. I like it.
Right.
It's got a good style to it.
Yeah, I'm all about the style.
Yeah, right.
And actually, here, have me one of yours.
Because I
made two for you.
My gears?
No, the bronze flange.
Ah.
I wonder if it would look better if I have yours.
Have a bronze flange? Yeah. It'll probably match with the gear.
Let's see. Oh, actually, I don't know if I'll be able to snap this on. It's kind of. Okay.
You're losing the Vice moniker.
Well,
that you had
I'm
before.
bending the gear. I don't think I want to. All right. No, I kind of like it in all black. Look at that. I mean, it's
not bad.
It's not bad. It's kind of cool.
It kind of blends in, yeah. I think it works either way, honestly.
Okay, I'll go with that. Actually, okay, wow. So I did use some of yours.
Yeah.
You should feel better.
I do feel better.
You feel better.
It makes me, yeah.
All right. So I've got. This is going to be my control side. If I powered this up right now, I could actually look at the serial monitor, and this would have the input from my potentiometer. But now I'm going to need to install this into my goggles. Now, Brian, this is where we're going to get kind of fun.
Have we not been having fun yet?
Oh, I've been having lots of fun.
Are you having fun
yet?
But
now I get to do fun with a rotary tool.
Oh. It gets picked up on the mic well.
It does get picked up on the mic. Now, on the old version, I actually had the rat holes at the bottom. On the new version, I'm putting the rat holes at the top just because, remember, I put that cutout. There's a cutout here because I didn't want this grinding up against the bridge of my nose.
Right. It was uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable. But it also means that now I can't run wires underneath.
So you're going to have to go over and through the bridge.
Over the top, right?
That makes sense.
So I'm putting my rat hole right about here. And the way that I determined that I wanted it there was if I put the frame on, if I put the correct frame on.
That always helps.
Yeah, you want this rat hole covered up right about there. So that's my spot.
Okay.
If you do this, I had safety goggles here.
You do? Aren't those them?
Oh, yeah. There we go. You're going to want your safety goggles. Like so.
Always safety first.
Safety first.
Which, of course, I don't have any safety goggles over here.
Well, you use mine when I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Now, normally I would have this in a vise, but I'm not putting much pressure on the Dremel right now. There we go.
Not bad.
It's one side.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And I just picked the point right below the lip because I don't want this to interfere with the thread of the actual lens holder.
Okay.
There you go. On yours, you don't have to unless you want to run it through the top because yours is set up to run to the bottom.
Yeah, I've already got the holes at the bottom. I don't want to drill through it again. So
okay. All right. Now, Brian, we're going to get tricky.
Whoa.
Okay.
Trickier.
So remember, this is ring 1, which is going to be on the right side. And I've got one set, the out wires, which have to go through this rat hole. Like so. Hold on. Let's do this. And this is, by the way, make sure you get silicone wire, because if you don't, what's going to happen is the insulation will just melt as you're starting to solder this, and it's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
You're speaking from experience?
I'm speaking from experience.
Makes sense.
Actually, you know what? I need to route all 6 of these. I think it'll be easier if I do them one at a time, but let's see if I can get them all at once. I doubt it.
Madman. A madman.
Yeah, I can't get them all at once. You can enlarge the rat hole, but the larger you make the rat hole, I don't like the finished product.
The bigger the rat?
Well, the bigger the mess.
That too.
Yeah.
Oh, easy does it. It's like that. Oh, wait. Has that episode that we did with Patrick, that hasn't come out yet? Huh? I was going to say, it's just like trying to thread a needle with Patrick, but nobody knows that reference because that episode hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
We do a cosplay
You're
episode.
Totally not referencing an episode that happens in the future, Brian.
Should we? No,
how would we know?
It. In the future, we do an episode with Patrick Delahanty about how to basically build your own cosplay and use a sewing machine. And watching how difficult it was to thread a needle, this is reminding me of that.
Yeah, this is basically it. Now, you can also make the rat hole just by sort of torquing the bit a bit. Mm-hmm. You can smooth out the edges. But just remember that once you started wiring, and especially after you've soldered, you cannot enlarge the hole anymore. So
you're donezo.
You're donezo. Yeah, you'll have to snip and resolder like Brian.
I did.
Another trick with silicone wire is if you get it close enough, you can actually drag the other wires. And because silicone tends to grab, it will actually grab the wire you're trying to run and pull it through like that.
Cool.
Ta-da! Now, this is the hardest one because this is going to be 6 wires. But on the left goggle, there's only 5. Because there's 1 data and 4 power. This has 2 data and 4 power.
Okay.
There we go. So that is my ring.
Nice.
Okay. So what I can do is put this on. Remember, it's going to go on the outside, like so. And this is the part that you wanted to pay attention to, Brian.
Right.
We're going to be putting this into my my frame. They're going to go right there. The gasket is going to go over the top of the ring, and then the piece of tinted glass that we kept is going to go like that. And when I screw this in, it should be held right up against the goggles.
Perfect. Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Right. So where are you?
Well, I guess I kind of stopped when I got to the potentiometer and then getting it soldered to the Arduino.
All right.
Because I didn't remember which pins you said to use.
Okay, so you're going to do black to the ground on the top side of the board, red to the 5-volt line, and then the white line is going to go to the analog 7.
Analog 7. Okay. That's the one I was trying to remember. Cool. Okay. And then I'm also trying to think ahead enough that, considering I already had this project in process, I have like excess wires on one of the LEDs And I'm wondering if I should just desolder a couple of them.
It might be easier to desolder. I mean, yeah, it's going to be more work, but the end result is going to look better just because you don't have to have a bunch of shrink wrap.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So I might postpone being able to finish my project at this point, but I'll solder to the Arduino.
We're going to do another less solder. All right, so here's the part that I enjoy. So I've got it inside of the LED shelf. It's just going to go over the top. And that LED, the little thing here, that's actually going to help keep the wires in alignment and away from my eyes. And there we go. So that's snapped in. Now, this goes down. This goes over the top.
The little gasket thing.
My little tinted glass goes on top of that.
Which hides it beautifully.
Yeah, look at that. That's so nice. And then the cup goes over the top of this. Now, I will say before you screw this down, what you're going to want to do is get like a terry cloth and really wipe down that lens because it's going to be difficult to clean it once you get this thing down.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. There we go. On the inside, you have to be careful because you want to keep, you see where the wires are?
Yes.
You want to keep that close to the bridge because that's where they're going to be routed out.
Right. It'll be easier to thread it.
Right. So what I typically do is if you put a finger there just to hold it in place, and then you can sort of crack down on this.
Okay.
And there we go. And that's my assembled cup. So the LED ring is now back there, and I'll do the same thing for the other side. And again, see if it's off, it's very difficult to see the LEDs.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's just part of the goggles. It's really cool.
Yeah. Your glass might be a little darker. I don't know if you can see through that, but we'll see.
Actually, why would it be darker?
Well, because I think they're different models.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely can't see
compared to
you
this.
can't see hardly anything. Oh, yeah, actually, I think they are darker. Can you tell a difference on camera, though?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
But this one is a little bit lighter.
Oh, yeah, actually, now hold it like that. Now we can see. Yeah.
Oh.
The one on top is mine, the one on the bottom is yours. So I'll have to get you a little lighter glass.
I like it like this, though. Monocles are back in, right?
Yes, Brian. Monocles are back in. Well, folks, unfortunately, we have used up all of our time. We're going to have to hand this off. So this is actually going to be finished up in the next Let's Solder because we still have to put together the final LEDs. We have to make sure that the two rings are connected to each other. And then we're going to do the system integration. And hopefully, Brian, we're going to have a chance to use these at Maker Faire coming up in May.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Especially since they're kind of they make you stand out. Like there's Maker Faire always has kind of a steampunk feel to it, but then these goggles light up and you have the hat and stuff. And if you do see us at Maker Faire or something like that, please come say hi.
Indeed. Don't forget that we do keep a complete set of show notes, including step-by-step instructions. I mean, we're doing this because it's fun, because we love sitting here and just yakking. Yeah. But you can always go to our show notes page and find the parts list, find all of the files that you need to download in order to do the 3D modeling and the 3D printing. And Brian, where did they find that?
Oh, you can find those at twit.tv/KH. And not only will you find the show notes and links to all the stuff that you want to be able to do this project with, but you can download and subscribe to the show.
Indeed. Now, don't forget that we also have a Google Plus group. In fact, we've got the most active Google Plus group at Twit. And check this out. Because of you, it's now not almost 11,000 members. It's over 11,000 members.
11,000!
That's not a thing. But if you go to Google Plus and look for Know-How, all you have to do is request to be added to the group. There's a very short approval process. Once you get in, you get access to those over 11,000 Kitas or know-it-alls who can give you potentially new projects, maybe help you with a project you're having.
It's perfect for a project like this. If you do run into a hiccup or say you want to add something extra to it, you could probably ask in the G Plus group or just show us up. You know, like you do a better job than what Padre has.
We actually do like that. Yeah. We really do. And that's what you're going to see that in more and more of our projects, starting with this. The reason why I have the cart system is because I want to make it very easy for you to do something extraordinary. We've got suggestions in the classroom about in the chat room about putting maybe a small constantly running motor to move the loop.
Oh, yeah.
Great. You've got the cart system now. Do it and show us so that the rest of us can build what you make.
That's right. But if you want to find out what we're doing when we're not on the show or what projects we might be working on and behind the scenes, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at cranky_hippo.
And you're going to find me at PadreSJ. And you're going to find the third member of our crew, the man who sits behind the desk and pushes our buttons.
While we're,
That guy. We call him Bacon Pancakes. You can find Bacon Pancakes on Twitter at twitter.com/ANELF.
This chicken's looking real good. It's gonna taste great. Oh, look!
You have a dog now.
This is actually a live feed, folks. This is from Leo's house.
No, this is over here.
Yeah, it's behind the desk.
Yeah.
You see, because we always make fun of if you smell chicken while you're soldering, you're doing it wrong. But Alex has gotten around that by just cooking chicken. Yeah.
Until next time.
With Padre, it's pronounced Alex.
No, right. Alex is not nearly as delicious as Bacon Pancakes.
Bacon Pancakes.
Sorry. Until next time, I'm Father Robert Ballas.
And I'm Brian Burnett.
And now that you know how,
go build some goggles. Go goggle it.
Googly
It's
eyes.
like Google, but goggle it.
I see what you did.